For the most part, I don't know what you're talking about. For the most part.
You don't know what I'm talking about. There is no beef. There is no beef with black betterment. With other blacks.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Is that issue? Well, fine.
I'll finish.
Come. What's wrong? Come, because content over everything. It does have to. I don't know if it's going to do, because to be honest, the gentleman was here. I'm not too sure what he talks about, and hopefully, it's hard. And we should make fun of him because obviously he has a speaking difference, and as time goes by,
we're not talking about it.
Yeah. So I'm glad to what Sangos. Is there something else you want to brother? You call me. Is there something you want to talk about? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically,
Yeah.
my brother here comes to me and we were talking about last time I spoke about Somali history and all that kind of stuff,
Yes,
and
that's right.
how like a lot of people think that I'm nationalistic and all that stuff because I speak for my community.
Okay.
And I don't understand since when speaking for your community makes you a nationalist. Yeah. So the thing is, this brother comes to me and he's talking to me about Arab people and telling me just because I reject Arabs, he's telling me, oh yeah, you got brainwashed by
You don't
Raven.
reject Arabs. You insulted them. You insulted them.
I don't care about
you
Arabs.
said two things.
You insulted them.
Is it true that you said because he quote unquote rejects Arabs, he's been brainwashed by me? Can you explain that? Is that true? Is that a correct statement first?
No, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. I didn't mean it that way, innit?
Right.
So can I
So
explain myself?
you have slandered me. You have slandered me.
No. Forgive me, innit? Forgive me.
Okay, you're forgiven.
Forgive me. I didn't mean to sound.
Basically,
Basically, from what I know from gang, yeah, is that you guys promote black betterment, right?
Right, so let's get two things
Yeah.
straight, right?
Yeah.
Gang and black betterment, right, are almost two separate things, right? So it's like this. Here, there was a recognition that there was a lot of killing going on, so the brothers decided to come together and try to stop it. That's gang. Now, that includes, if you were in a gang, in a community, we will try to help you. Yeah, that's the only reason you might include in black betterment, because many of the people we're trying to help are black. But you're welcome to be helped by the same initiative, right?
That's fair enough.
Does that make
That's
sense?
fair.
Now,
It
black
makes sense,
betterment is black people, working with other black people on black issues. That's what black betterment is. And then sometimes there's organizations built on this philosophy. Yeah? Do you know why black people are trying to help black people on black issues? Do you know why? Do you know why? Because we need it. You see what I'm saying? Now,
And I agree.
right. But what it is, there's some people who are not black who have a history of either mistreating black people or dominating other black people. I'm not saying the gentleman that is him, but what happens when he sees black people talking, there's a fear. Now, historically, there is some people that say that some non-black people feel that black people might do to them what was done to us, right? Right, and that is one of the fears. If that is one of the fears, let's talk about it now. I don't mind. But at no point am I ever asking any black person to mistreat non-black people. Do you know what I mean? Right? So that's what it is. So where does your question come from to the gentleman? Where does your question come from?
So he insulted a community or race.
Right.
By, I don't want to repeat it because it's on camera and
Right.
children might watch it, but he used the F word, F the Arabs. Yeah?
Okay, I don't agree with
So,
that. You
yeah,
should say.
so I'm glad you don't agree with that. But this is, for me, this could be like discrimination. Like you're belittling like a group or race of people, which is wrong. You can't be doing that.
Okay.
And then when I mentioned the gang thing, I'm sorry, innit?
I don't know why you mentioned gang in
Yeah,
Somali.
I'm sorry, innit? I'm sorry because
Black people the same.
because basically, I know how you personally promote black betterment.
I do.
And I have no issue with that.
Why would you? But go ahead.
I have no issue with that.
You should
because-
support it, but go ahead.
Yeah, of course I support it because my religion teaches me to,
That's good.
to
Carry
support. So I have no issue with that. But
Right.
when I said it, I never meant it in that way though. I meant it like a jokey way, innit?
Yeah.
When I said that to him, because in our religion we don't put race first.
Would you
before
joke about rape?
religion.
Would you joke about rape?
No, 100%. No.
So, but you would joke about black people trying to fix themselves?
No, not in that way. But what I meant is that, apologies by the way, what I meant is that because you promote black betterment, in Islam, yeah, we don't have this concept of black betterment or white betterment or whatever is
In
betterment.
Islam, do you have concept of rocket ships?
Rocket ships.
Rocket ships.
That's in science.
Yeah, as in ships that go to the moon. Is that in Islam?
No, but
So not everything's going to be
science a lot.
yeah, but not everything's going to be Islam, right? There are particulars that's not going to be Islam, right?
Yeah.
So we're dealing
But I
with
just
those
want to
particulars.
apologize, innit? Like I didn't mean it that way.
Anyways,
innit?
let's get
I did-
back. Let's
yeah.
get back.
But he insulted.
the
I
thing-
said to him, can I finish?
Yeah.
I said to him, yeah, the Arabs. He said that Arab. Arab.
Are you Arab?
No, I'm not. I'm North African. So, but I speak Arabic. I said to him that the Arabs done a lot of good things. Like they brought to our country. They brought the language, which is one of the fourth high-speaking languages. They taught us literature. They taught us poems. You know, they brought science, universities, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then he's turned around and said, "Well, and Somalia is what 95% Muslim country or how many? 100% Muslim country. Yeah,
99.99. Right.
yeah, and who brought them Islam? The Arabs.
All right, okay,
Simple as.
okay. Let's go back to the
So you
Arab
can't
thing.
insult-
yeah?
insult-
First of all, we said Arabs brought us literature, like as if Somali people never had literature. Arab brought us technology, as if we never had technology. Arab brought us this, as if we never had something. The only thing that we got from Arabs, yeah, is the Deen, right? And also the person, the prophet that brought us the Deen, in essence or in lineage or in origin, he's not even an Arab. You understand? He's an Arabized Arab. So, okay, I just told you earlier. There are
But you were wrong, though.
There are 4 types of Arabs.
Prophet
Yeah?
ﷺ was an Arab.
Can I finish?
Was
I'll
an
let you
Arab.
speak. I'll let you speak.
Go on.
There are 4 types of Arabs. Yeah, Arab al-Ba'ida, Arab al-Musta'riba, and another Arab I forgot. But anyway, these 3 Arabs. Yeah, one of them is the ancient ones, and Arabized Arab. The Prophet was one of the Arabized Arabs because, like, as we speak in history, Ishmael alayhi salam and his father and his mother came to the Arabian lands, migrating from a different place, and he left them there. And then the nomadic Arabs came to them and they were like, "Can we live with you?" And then from those nomadic Arabs, Ishmael married from. So if you're speaking about Islamically, we count back to our fathers, not to our mothers. So we cannot say the Prophet is actually an Arab. He's a mix, but he's not really an Arab. He's an Arabized Arab. For example, I'm British. I'm Somali, but I'm British as well. I'm not gonna be like, basically, I've been just by adapting the British culture, I became a British. I live in a British country, but I'm still Somali. So it's like that basically with the Prophet ﷺ. Now coming back to his story, before the Arabs came, right? We had everything. You get me? Everything. We had power. We had control, right? Also, look. The Maldives Islands and what's it called? Parts of Sri Lanka, all these parts, yeah, they were under Somali control. You understand? So now come back to the
British control.
No. We're talking about the 10th and the 9th century, bro. We're not talking about now. We're talking about.
But Somalia had an empire.
Now we did, yeah. Now wait. When Islam came to us, actually, one sec. When Islam came to us, straight away we took it because we already believed in a God. We already believed in a God of water and life, right? We already had in belief in God. But the only thing that was missing was Aqidah, meaning the original belief of Allah. And once we heard it, there was no war, there was no sword. They told us, we told them. So now look, almost every African history has been Arabized. For example, the man who taught Islam or brought Islam to the Maldives and the Sri Lanka, they said he was a Persian when he was an Arab. Sorry, when he was a Somali, they said he was a Persian when he was a Somali. You understand? What's his name? His name is Abu Barqadli. May Allah have mercy on him, yeah? Abu Barqadli. For example, in Sri Lanka, there's a small village called Beralao, or Beralo, something like that. But in essence, it used to be called Beberen, coming from the Berber teacher, because we were the Eastern Berbers, right? The Somali people known as the Eastern Berbers. Now, long story short, how are you going to tell me that Somali people don't have history, Arabs taught you everything, when we actually contributed in this world of Islam and given the world Islam itself? You get me? For example, one of the oldest masjids is in Somalia. It's called Qiblatain. When the Somalis came, they were built by the Muslim Somalis. They were built by the Muslim Somalis. Look.
Brother, you need to put your ego
They
aside.
were not built by Arabs. Don't bring Arabs into this, man. Can I finish?
Why'd you hate Arabs then? Why'd you hate Arabs?
Can I finish? Forget about it.
If they done all this good stuff, why do you hate them?
What did the Arabs do?
What do you mean, what did the Arabs do,
What did
bro?
they do? We already had everything. What did they do?
Did you have Islam before they came?
Akhi, Islam. Wait.
Did you have Islam?
See the problem with that.
you have Islam before they came?
Islam is not from the Arabs. It's from Allah. It's not from them.
Okay.
So Akhi, don't tell me Arabs from Islam.
The Prophet was Arab.
Wait. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed for the Somali people to be guided, not the Arabs. They taught us and we took it by the will of Allah.
What about the Arabic language? What about the Arabic language?
You get me?
What about the Arabic language? What? The Arabic language. Why did Allah decide to reveal the Quran in the Arabic language?
Why did Allah decide to reveal in Hebrew by the Torah or the Injil? What are you talking about, man?
Because they were the chosen people at the time.
I tell you why.
Are the Arabs chosen people then?
No, they're not the chosen people.
So what are you talking about?
No, what I'm trying. No.
Okay, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow
He's saying that Arabs didn't do anything.
Wait. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow Abu Barqadli, the Somali scholar, to preach in the Maldives when he wasn't even an Arab? What language was he using?
Your ego aside, bro.
What do you mean ego?
You need to put your ego aside.
Let me help guys. What is it that you want him to do?
He wants us to love Arabs.
No, he's insulting a race.
I'm not insulting him.
You said,
did I insult Arabs?
I don't remember you insulting him.
We got bare witnesses, bro. You did say it. You did say it, bro. It's like me saying, oh, Somalis, or this and that. Say it again if you're brave, innit? Say it again if you're brave.
Say it again.
Say it again if you're brave. Say it again.
You can rephrase it. Don't break the gap. Don't break the gap.
Or you can do what I done. I apologize to Raven. I apologize to Raven.
I'll say what I said, yeah? There's no point of like hiding away, innit?
Say it with your chest, bro.
I'll say my chest, bro. Like out there, look. This is what happened, yeah? So these people come to me praising Arabs in this, yeah? And then what I know about the Arab people, They come to my country, yeah. They fund terrorist groups. They do a lot of stuff going on.
And
really
who funds
crazy.
the terrorist groups?
Aki, one sec.
Britain and America.
Wait.
Britain and America.
Emirates is one of them.
He's blaming the Arabs, but he doesn't blame the West.
Well, the West, we know what the West did as well. We
Okay,
know
so
what
why
they
are you
did.
blaming the Arabs then?
But- wait.
Who funded Al Qaeda and ISIS? Who funded
Is that
America?
America? Is that in Somalia? I'm talking about Somalia. We're not talking about.
Okay, what about
any other
Al-Shabaab?
country.
What about Al-Shabaab? Who funds
That's
Al-Shabaab?
Emirates.
The Jews.
The Saudis.
Okay, so who funds the Saudis? America.
Hold on, man. The Arabs, the Jews, whoever the hell they are, yeah?
Bro,
from the Middle East anyways.
Let's pay
Anyways, what happened in the process, right? These people, for example, Emirates, as we know, I don't know if a lot of you are updated to African news or whatever, the Emirate people are trying their best like to dismantle the Somali political system and everything, simply because Somalia said we're not willing to work with you. Right? Simply because Somalia chose to work with Qatar when Qatar was put on blockade, using airspace.
Okay, now we're going to
Somalia was there to help
Now we're going to politics. Now we're going to politics.
No, you brought
Now we're jumping. We're jumping.
You brought it to it. You come back to Arabs.
So he only likes the Arabs that help his country, but he doesn't like the other Arabs. He picks and chooses.
Obviously, I will pick and choose what's best for me.
It's like me saying I like Nigerians because they help me, but I hate Ghanaians because they don't help me.
Are you saying
It's
that
like
you feel he made a
basically.
statement that was blanket across every single Arab?
He said Qatarians are fine, but Qatarians are one of the purest of Arabs.
We love
so
them.
he's only his ego.
Long live Qatar.
Raven.
Long live Qatar.
Only his ego. His ego.
Long live Qatar.
Arabs, bro.
No, I didn't say all
So,
Arabs.
is it correct to saying that you don't want people to mistreat Somali people, right?
Okay, my point is this, yeah. If you don't want to help Somali people, leave them.
Yes. Okay.
Right? For example, you spoke about Nigeria, yeah?
I gave an example.
No. But you'll never hear me talk about ill about Nigeria, even though my president died in Nigeria. I don't know why he died there, but somehow he died in he died in a car accident. But that's besides the point, right? I don't have anything wrong with Nigeria.
Nigerian culture.
Right? Wherever it is, I don't have anything. I'll never come here and speak about ill about Nigeria.
It's the richest country in Africa.
But I don't care.
It's the richest country
But I don't care though.
You only care about Somalia.
Somalia is also rich as well. You get me?
No,
Somalia's rich, my brother.
They are, but like
the whole of
but like
East.
the people.
What is it you're trying to achieve? Because he's obviously proud in the sense of he's trying to build up his country. He's trying to make
The whole of African
unity.
continent is rich.
What is it that you disagree with? So you made a statement that you don't like him, that he said a negative word towards Arabs, and he's confirmed that he doesn't dislike all Arabs. He doesn't like when Arabs mistreat his people. Right?
If you're not going to help me, don't help me.
So what is it that you disagree with? Is everything okay now?
He's saying that the Prophet was an Arab, but we all know that the Prophet was an
But
Arab.
even if he was Arab, why is that important? If he was Nigerian, would it be less?
No.
So is it the message or the messenger that's most important to you?
The message. The message.
So then we don't need to.
But the message is in Arabic. Why is it in Arabic?
Because that's what the messenger spoke, right? At the time.
Yeah, Arabic. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if
Arabic is a universal language.
So is English. So
Yeah, I know.
Any language that a person can speak is universal, right?
Earlier, I made a point. Yeah, the Maldives, for example, was a Somali colony, and I think they use Somali to interact in other Maldives languages. So, what language do you use to spread the deen? He used his language or whatever that language they were speaking, not Arabic. They used Arabic because they didn't know anything else to speak.
No, they learned it. They were
if
taught by teachers.
So you think I know Sheikh Oberqalla went first of all he studied in Somalia.
So why do North Africans speak Arabic then?
What do you mean?
If the religion.
You speak Arabic?
Yeah, but yeah.
Why
What was your language before Arabic?
Amazigh.
Have you learned that?
No.
Why have you not learned that?
Because
What language is before Arabic was in Somalia?
Somali.
Can you speak that?
Still.
Can you see?
Still alive.
because we adopted their culture.
Yeah, but then, well, listen, do what you want, but but this guy, he's proud in something that his people created, and he's remembered it. This is an admirable thing. I would say to you, there might be some value in learning about your history before the Arabs.
No, I know about my history.
And the culture and the language.
Yeah, I'm coming. In Islam, before I go, I'm gonna make one point. In Islam, it says here that if you accept the religion, you become an Arab. That's what it says in Islam. I can show you that.
So
this guy reads a lot of fabricated hadith.
Okay, I don't know.
You know he said to me, in Jannah we're going to
some hadith say that. Anyways, take care of it.
Have a good day, man.
You too, man. Take care of it. I apologize about earlier, though. Innit? Forgive me, though. Yeah, I didn't mean it.
Always ask questions.
Yeah,
Always ask questions.
But we're cool, though, innit? Take care.
Alright, cool.
What's Suleiman?
Alright, cool.
What was the empire you were saying about the Maldives? That's very interesting.
The Ajuran Empire. Ajuran. Yeah, basically, within Ajuran Empire also there's another. It's not very accurate, But when before the Ajuran took over, there was another dynasty known as the Hilali dynasty that was ruling in Maldives. Like they actually they overtook the Maldives and started ruling in Maldives.
This is pre-Islamic.
This pre-Islamic, yeah. And also you have I'm talking about Hilali dynasty. And then around the 10th century, there came out the Ajuran Empire, which were a very, very, very powerful empire. And by the way, I would like to correct one thing. A lot of people think Fakhr ad-Din Masjid was built by a Persian king, when Fakhr ad-Din, Fakhr al-Din actually, the Persian king, was he came around the 14th century when this masjid was built on the 10th century. You understand? So these are two things. So now because the king that built the Fakhr ad-Din, his name was Abu Bakr Fakhr ad-Din. You understand? He came from Berber, North Somalia, right, Berbera, and he came to Khalifa.
Eritrea type area.
No, Somalia. Eritrea is like way far. Like you get me. But once upon a time, Eritrea and Somalia and many other places were part of the Buntai, the Buntland.
East Ethiopia.
Yeah, no. Ethiopia. Look, when we say Ethiopia, we think the whole of Ethiopia once upon a time was occupied by Habasha.
What was it?
But historically, you know, Eritrea is a small part of Eritrea.
Yes.
That's where the Habasha people used to rule. The rest of Ethiopia it belongs to Oromo, Soho, Somalis, Beja, and the Hamfur people. These 5 clans, and these are the so-called the Buntites. You understand that ancient the ancestors of the Egyptians, basically.
The Kushite people.
Yeah, the Kushite people.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think I follow some of your stuff, bro.
Huh?
I follow some of your things, and I think there's a lot of division unnecessarily within Somalian communities.
Okay, like what?
Like Somaliland, Somalia kind of conflict. I think that's a bit unnecessary. As an outsider, just looking like into the community, I would like to see more unity. So what you're doing in terms of promoting the culture and the history is great. I think that brother here, you guys were kind of on the same level because he's not against Somalian, right? But when you said what you said, you probably said it in the sense of, right, forget about them, I'm focused on my own culture and I'm promoting that.
Yeah.
But he took it as in like a racist,
But
a derogatory comment.
the thing is, yeah, a lot of people, yeah, think that if, for example, other Muslims or other Arabs, they think that if you don't include them in this, whatever you're doing, you are not supporting Islam. But the thing is, look, the Prophet ﷺ, before he made the Arabs or before he invited any other people to Islam, he started with his own people, his own family first. Not the whole Arabs, his family, then his friends, then, you know, the whole of Arab people. And then after that, the deen spread it.
Yeah.
So if I want peace, if I want goodness for my people, I'm going to, for example, right now, I'm not too much worried about Somalia. I speak about Somali history, I speak about all this stuff to educate the Somalis in Britain, because Britain is my home, you understand? So if my community is not healthy, how am I going to be healthy? How am I going to be happy? So I've seen a lot of youth who are depressed, anxiety, depression, whatever's going on. Some of them are not even proud of who they are because of what's going on in Somalia, you get me? So I just want to tell them, you know, and a lot of them don't even know their history. They think Somalia is simple, Islam came to them done, and then they were Arabized. And a lot of people are trying to Arabize the Somali history so bad to the extent that, you know, just so ridiculous, exactly. Yeah. For example, look, Oman, for example, many other countries, they tried to Arabize Somalia so bad. If it wasn't for kings like Yusuf Ahmed or Ahmed Yusuf, one of the, I always mistake the two. If it wasn't for that king, then the Omanis would have taken over Somalia like they have taken over Bombasa, Kilwa, and Zanzibar, and they would have Arabized everybody. You understand? But it was because of him. First of all, he freed. Actually, they tried. He won
the Omanis when they went to Tanzania. And
so they tried to come through Somalia. This king defeated them, and then he gathered 20,000 strong army, and he went to them wherever they were colonizing. He removed them, killed all the Omanis, and then captured. What's it called? He also forced the Omanis to pay tribute to him. You understand?
Impressive.
Yeah, and he freed the slaves that they were enslaving. You get me? So these are things they won't talk to you about, right? Have you ever heard that one of the oldest masjids? There are as I believe there are 5 holy masjids. Yeah, Medina, Mecca, one in Harar, and the one in Zaila. You understand? And Al-Aqsa. Zaila is the one in Somalia. It was built around the first migration, the first hijrah of the Islamic.
Where did they come up with the 5 from?
Huh?
I know of 3.
You know of Medina, Mecca, and Aqsa.
That's
3.
right.
So you got Harar, is also that's in Ethiopia. Harar is a very ancient masjid in there, built by the Sahabis. And then you have Zaila. There's another mosque called Qiblatain. Huh?
Are they holy, the one in Zayla and
They are holy, yeah.
Are they
holy.
important, like historically, or are you saying it's
because look,
as part of our deen? We believe that that's part of the faith.
For example, they are important Islamically, and they are important historically, right?
But there's a difference. So you have to be careful.
Wait. Come back.
Yeah.
So, historically they are good, and Islamically they're what's it called?
Where'd you base that claim?
Huh?
Where'd you base that claim?
Okay, look. For example, I base that claim according to because like the prophets came, the Sahabas came and they built it, right? And it's like one of the first mosques, right? And it has two qiblas, one that's facing Jerusalem, and the other one is facing Mecca. Mecca. So basically, it shows that this is a very ancient masjid, same as what's it called? I think Medina. Has Medina got two qiblas as well? No, I haven't been there, but I'm not sure.
There's a Qiblatain as well in Medina. Qiblatain.
Yeah.
Anyway, Khalid, you said 5 masjids, 4 was it? They're
5.
holy and Islamic and very old.
5,
But why is it in the Quran they only mention 3 masjids, but not 5 of them? They don't mention one in Qiblatain, Zayla,
Oh, that's a good question. The thing is, when we talk about holy, for example, every masjid is holy, right? Yeah, every masjid is holy.
5 main masjids.
Wait. Yeah, but every masjid is holy, right? But when we speak about, these 5 masjids that we're talking about, one of them are ancient. Like when we talk about ancient, they're very close to Allah because a lot of things happened there. Messengers were the ones that built. For example, Aqsa was built by Sulaiman alayhi salam. You understand? Mecca was built by Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then it was reformed by the Sahaba and the Prophet alayhi salam. And then, what's the one I'm missing for? Aqsa, Medina. Yeah.
Medina, you missed it.
And Medina was built by the Prophet ﷺ. You understand? And then you have a very, very important Sahabas who were migrating from Arabia, from persecution into African world. They built Qiblatain in Zayla.
But I'm not disputing that historically it's important, and actually that's quite impressive. That I didn't know that about Somalia and Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it out of the 3. I'll give you an example. I'm from Cyprus, northern Cyprus, and there was many Sahaba that came there during when Muawiyah came and conquered the island. And there's Haram bint Milhan is buried in Larnaca. They got mosque there as well. So I can then claim, according to your logic, that this is one of their holy mosques as well. It's not. It's important historically for all of the Muslims. It's all part of our shared heritage. But
actually, look.
As far as I know, there's 3 that is mentioned.
Sorry, Masajid in Saudi, like Masjid Qubba, Masjid Sabatain, they were built by Sahaba. They have a long history. How come we don't mention them? We mention them.
Well, the thing is, it's weird that it's weird. Yeah, everything that's in Africa, like we have a lot of important things in Africa. But historically, for example, Zayla, this is the first time a lot of people are hearing about Zayla, Qiblatain. You get me? So, or maybe the one in Harar. There are very few people know about this. But the thing is, why is it that all the Arab history, right? So everything is Arabized, yeah? For example, if you want to learn about Islam, for example, the Moors of what's it called, the North African Muslims that spread Islam. These African people, they were melanated people, right? They were African people, black people. They were not Arab, they were not light skin, whatever that we showed them, right?
I don't know about that, bro.
They were not. They were not Arabs. Wallahi, they were not.
Skin, bro.
No. We're talking about melanated people. Because like the Moors, yeah, they started from Central Africa. You understand? And they spread towards Chad, and then it went to Mali, and then it went all the way up, and then that's how we got to the northeast, northwest side of Africa.
So anyways,
long story short,
the black people there.
Long story short, yeah. Whether these melanated people or fair-skinned people, that's still dark-skinned anyways. Fair-skinned people were Arabs or not. Why is it that the conquering of the Western world is Arabized? Why is it? How come this credit is not given to the African people? Right? How come that the credit of Somali people spreading Islam into Maldives and Sri Lanka and many parts of Asia is not given to Somalia? Right? Why is it always? Why are they trying so hard to change Sheikh Al-Kaunain Sheikh Al Barqadle? How come they are trying to change that name into a Persian name when at that time of Al Barqadle, the king or the governor of Maldives was a Somali? And it makes clear sense, you get me?
That's a fair point.
Why are we Arabizing that, African history?
The issue of Arabization, I get where you're coming from. I totally back that. Yeah. But is this unique to Africans? Is it because these guys are black and there's a racist issue here?
I'll tell you why it's unique to Africa, yeah?
Go on. For example, there was a huge Arabization of Persia.
Okay.
Until they stopped and they came back and they started Persianizing again, right?
Yeah.
you got a whole history in, for example, the Persianizing of South Asia, Central Asian kingdoms as well. So there's many non-Arab kingdoms. Islamic, cool. But what the brother's saying here is the Arabization. So we shouldn't just give all credit of the non-Arabs to Arabs in the name of Islam.
Yeah.
And some Muslims, as you rightly said as well, they feel that because they're Muslim, they need to Arabize, or they need to kind of somehow give that superiority to the Arabs. But the Prophet ﷺ said that there's no superiority between Arab and non-Arab. It's based on taqwa and piety. Yeah? True. But what I'm saying to the brother here, and what I'm questioning is, what you're saying about the Arabization issue is not uniquely against the black people or African peoples.
But I'm gonna add to this that Africa played a major, super major role in spreading of Islam. You understand? When I say, for example, what's it called? The Western world would have it would have been impossible for only the Arabs to spread Islam on the Western world if it wasn't for the African people. And what they have done is that they've come to Africa, and until today they are trying to Arabize the African people, starting from the north. Like right now, they're struggling to Arabize my people. Right? For example, before the Arabs came, Islam was being taught in Somali. For example, Alif Ba Ta. This is how it goes in Somali. Yeah. Alif Wahmale, Ba Hoskale, Ta Kurkulamale, Jim Hoskale. These are like basically they Somaliized so that you could understand in Somali. Yeah. The Quran was written in Somali, translation, everything was Somali. Right now what we see, because like when you learn something in your language and then later it was easy for you to understand, you get me? Whatever it is. Now we have in Somalia people who know so much about Quran, they are Hafiz but they don't understand the Quran. They know Arabic, they can speak Arabic, but they don't know what they're saying because they were taught in Arabic. You understand? So this whole Arabization thing, this is why I'm against. I'm against, like, let me have my culture. For example, hijab. Last time I spoke about hijab, and I was actually getting a lot of hate for speaking about that.
What's your position?
I've said like you've got hate in your heart, right?
Huh?
You sound like you've got hate in your heart.
For who? Who have I got hate for?
For Arabs.
For Arabs? Yeah, but
because you've
wait,
gone to the Quran,
if people,
language,
language, if people come
in
to you,
Somali, do you have certain words are different? They say, come on, Somali language, yes, but you have to go with the language.
Why do I have to go with the language? Why can I not take the Quran and translate it into Somali?
To understand the religion.
Allah never ordered me to speak Arabic.
He told everybody to.
Wallahi.
I think you want to change it by yourself.
What change what?
Because Somali, you want to read the Quran in Somali.
Why not?
You want to learn
Why not?
Somali.
What's wrong with
you
that?
want to go and stand unity.
So you're saying.
There's two extreme positions here.
Wait.
There's two extreme positions.
I know where it's coming from.
Using a different word.
I know where it's coming from. Look, this is what happens.
I don't understand.
So you're telling me it's wrong to say waxaan ku bilaawaya magaca Alle ka naxariista badan iyo naxariista guud. Taas daan dhaho ma qaldan tahay. Ma khalad miya? Ii sheeg khalad miya waxaan dhahay hadda.
Listen.
Horta khalad miya waxaan dhahay. Waxaad tiri af Soomaali waa khalad waa tiri wax lagu sufro. Khalad miya haamis maya. Akhi marka ay la hadlayna dasas tahay. Because waxa ka hadlaysa ma taqaanin.
You're wrong.
Okay khalas ma waxaan ku bilaawaya ninkan wuxuu yiri magaca Ilaahay ayaan ku bilaawaya. magaca Ilaahay ayaan ku bilaawaya asaga naxariis guud iyo naxariis gaar leh waa qalad waay u dhahay asoo taala man. Anyways, let's continue the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
What just happened?
So I think there seems to be two extreme positions. The brother was saying that we all need to speak Arabic.
Yeah.
I'm against that position. We speak in English here, this isn't haram, right?
So is he saying that you have to read the Quran in Arabic as a Muslim?
No, basically
If
you're praying,
there's a blessing
Yes.
in reading the Quran in Arabic.
Yeah.
And we know this because every letter you read, you get a certain reward for that.
Sure.
But the thing is, it specifies that non-Arabs who are struggling when they're reading Arabic,
I'm one of those.
will get. I'm one of those as well, right? Who will struggle and they'll make mistakes because
Yes.
naturally, that's not your
Yes.
language, right? They will get reward for this,
Yes.
right? So
I'm not
the position that the brother may have, what I understood was that if we all need to speak Arabic, I'll be against that position.
Yeah.
And I'm against the position
And was
that
he
we have
saying
to
that
Arabize.
because to read the Quran, or was he saying it
Ah,
as speaking?
but the issue with the reading, I back that because
Yeah.
there is a benefit. I think the brother's also saying that it's good to understand
Yeah.
what's being said. A translation, you can only get a sample. of the beauty of the Quran.
I agree, but I know that reading the Quran in Arabic must be a next level experience. I'm a Muslim,
Yes, yeah.
and I read it in English, but I still think I could spend years learning Arabic, and I'm not going to get it. But that translator is a master at translating languages. So
Sorry to interrupt you. I'll give you a recommendation. Listen to Sheikh Nu'man Ali Khan.
yeah, no,
He's really good at translating. Yeah, go on, continue.
So I feel I'm better off relying on a translator who knows Arabic better than I do and knows my language better than me as well. To do it rather than me learning Arabic. I will learn Arabic eventually, but I think this argument that the translations aren't good enough. Like you said, there's nothing in the Quran that says you can't read it.
I mean, I'm trying to learn myself as well, just so that I can understand the religion at a deeper level.
Yes.
There's only so much where
And I agree
you can
with
read a
that. I agree with
translation
that.
and you have the exegesis as well, where there's volumes and volumes of.
Yeah.
But once again, you're not going to understand the religion fully without understanding the Arabic language. So from a religious point of view, I'll say yes, Arabic does have a special place for us, and of course going to have a special place in our heart. This doesn't equate to the Arabs being superior to non-Arabs. But on the other end, neglecting Arabic altogether and saying, right, we're going to have Somali Quran only, English Quran,
No, that's not what I said.
and limit it to that.
So basically what I said, okay, this is my point, yeah? Have the deen, like learn Arabic, but also learn it in your language. For example, here's Arabic, here's Somali. Somali is also one of the most richest language, very much similar to Arabic. It has you know how Arabic uses certain words to describe one thing into many different things. Same thing goes with the Somali language as well. So we can describe one thing into different aspects, right? So the same thing. So basically, it's easy for a Somali to actually learn the Quran and understand the Quran better than a non-Arabic or a non-Somali or non-other Arabic-speaking person. Simply because we basically also Somali. It's partly Semitic, partly Cushitic. You get me? So you can understand both. So now it's good to. So what I'm saying, learn the Quran, learn the Deen, be a Muslim. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't let people who wear coats of Islam being like, okay, we are Muslims, but your language is not the way of Islam, so you're gonna have to speak Arabic. That's the language of Deen. That's the language that Allah. Some guy came to me, he's like, you know what? In Jannah, we're gonna speak Arabic. Where are you getting that from? How are we going to speak Arabic in Jannah? At the end of the day, like I said this 100 times, yeah? Language is only a vibration code. Right now, all we're doing is we're vibrating. Just, you hear me? That's all it is. Sound vibration. So what happens is, Allah is communicating to people through the best frequency, through the best vibration sound, you get me? And Allah chose Arabic for some reason, even though nowadays, when we say Arabic, we do not mean the modern day Arabic. The modern day Arabic has been messed up. It has full of lahja, you get me? So we're talking about the ancient Arabic, dialects and lahja. So it has a lot of dialects, you get me? But in the ancient Arabic, when you read it, it flows, it's very beautiful. And I do not deny that. But the thing is, keep your culture. For example, I was speaking about hijab. Sorry to interrupt, yeah? I was speaking about hijab. Last time I spoke about hijab, and a lot of people are forcing this huge garment on other people, right? We have a lot of Arabized Somalis who went to Arabia. They came to Somalia, and now they're trying to force this culture. That's not Somali culture. In Somalia, what we have is dira, or bati, or many other designed clothes.
And I think the men's clothing also varies, doesn't it?
Exactly, ma'awis, and a lot of beautiful cultural clothing.
How are these clothes? Sorry, I'm ignorant to these terms you've mentioned.
Basically, dira, these are traditional clothes, right? And they come in different colors. They are very beautiful. And as we know, Somali people are one of the most colorful people in Africa. They're very, very colorful. So basically, they have this massive, I can't describe, but it's certain garments, right? No, it's not abaya, it's different. I'll show you pictures later. Okay. So basically, long story short, and then it has gabisar, and it's beautiful. When a Somali woman wears it, mashallah, she looks beautiful. She looks modest. She looks Muslim, and she's got everything the Deen has. There's nothing wrong with being yourself and your culture, as long as your culture is not against Islam. It's not against Allah. It's not against the Sahabas. Keep it. What's wrong with it? Wallahi, for the sake of Islam, yeah? Somali people, they have destroyed their own historical monuments, pyramids, idols, so much. Right now, when you go to Somalia, you won't see we were the ancient bunts, right? And we don't have any of these things anymore. Even till today, they are finding
kind of ideological, Khariji kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Because the Sahaba, they went to Egypt,
Yeah.
they went to Syria, they didn't destroy.
it.
Pre-Islamic idols and
Yeah,
things
and
like
is
this.
it my understanding that the Prophet, peace be upon him, dressed like the people he went to visit? didn't
Yeah,
he
yeah.
actually made it upon himself to
Yeah.
dress as they dressed to fit in. So
Exactly.
I'm an English geezer, so there's no need for me to wear
Kameez.
to wear a camise or
Yeah,
anything. When I go to Saudi, I do. I went to Saudi last week. I
Yeah,
did.
I saw the video. Man.
Yeah, but I'm back here and dressed like an English
Exactly.
guy.
So
in
a
England-
lot of people think, sorry, bro. A lot of people think that when a woman, a Somali woman or African woman or any woman does not wear the niqab, I called that letterbox last time. I would like to take back because I've seen a lot of kuffar saying it, so I'm gonna take that back. I'm not gonna say letterbox anymore. Astaghfirullah. But I've seen a lot of it's called what's it called? Burqa. Yeah, burqa, niqab. Like Somali, that's not our tradition. It's not something it's not for us, right? Because that's an Arab tradition. That's what Arabs do. If I went to Arabia,
We gotta stop you there, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if I
and
agree with that.
Pakistanis. And
No, it's not about the Pakistani.
That's
or
what I
the
think. That's what I
Arabs,
think.
bro.
That's what I think.
That's your
by,
opinion.
by wearing,
Burqa is not Islamic.
bro, there's different opinions on the niqab.
Yeah, but it's not
Some are
Islamic.
saying
though, is it?
some are saying that the woman do need to wear it. Some saying don't need to wear it. Right? Some say in the hadith if the woman is so beautiful then and it's causing fitna, then it becomes fard on
Yeah.
her to then wear the niqab. Regardless, I'm not a scholar.
Yeah.
Right?
The
But
Niqabi
the
sisters
point-
that choose to wear it are doing it Islamically.
Yeah,
So
but
it's not their culture. It's not their
anything
culture.
that has a dispute amongst the people, it's not so
the
important.
the point that I want to put, because we're not scholars here to give the fatwa on whether niqab is fine or not, or wearing the loose abaya. But does the woman become less Somali by wearing that?
Does she become less Somali?
not an Arab tradition.
She loses. No. Me as a Somali, I'm 100% against for any Somali woman to wear burqa because that's not her culture.
Is it Arab culture?
It's an Arab culture. That's
Do you
what.
know- do you know
like, when
the
you
black-
go to Arabia, that's what you see. For example,
This is modern Arab.
If my sister went to Arabia and she wore a burqa, all right, cool. She's in Arabia, like you said. Like if you go to a certain people's culture, look like them. There's a Somali proverb that goes, like if you go to a place where everybody has one eye, then take your other eye out so you look like everybody else. You get me?
Like when in Rome.
Yeah.
You get me?
Bro, you know where the black abaya, where that tradition started from?
Where did it start from?
It started from the Christians in Syria.
Okay.
But when the Muslims saw it, they said that actually this clothing fits with what Islam is teaching. So therefore they adopted that clothing. So it's not a Saudi Arabian clothing.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
This is not any.
Are there certain times the Prophet peace on him, had his wife wearing the niqab and things like that? There are, aren't there? There's scripture to say that where he had people wearing.
I'll need to look into that. I wouldn't know.
What does
I've never heard the
Repeat that
niqab.
again.
I've never heard the niqab being described as an Arab thing. It's the first thing I've heard.
But
I'll look
me,
into that
every
too,
time
but-
I look into it, I've seen a
Because you
lot.
have Moroccan Niqabi sisters, you have.
exactly.
So your claim is
But
that they
these are
are
Arab
being
descendants,
Arabized.
Moroccans. These are Arabized people.
Okay.
Arabs came there and then they gave them their culture. Like, anyways, coming back, for example, when you go down east, south, or from north to south, right, east part of Africa, you see the culture changing. You see different cultures. Like people are Muslims, they are modest and everything, but still they got their culture. They're not Arabized. But then the further you go, you see more Arabized people with different. For example, the Berbers, right? Of North Africa, they have a beautiful culture, which is very much similar to Somali culture. You
So
get me?
I think the burqa is separate, but I do agree with you that cultures have the way of dressing, and
Yeah.
you can't make the mistake of thinking that it's Islam.
Yeah.
I mean, in the English concept, I think is Abdul Hakim Murad, Timothy Winters, and he's done an extremely good effort. He's Muslim, the Cambridge guy, absolutely, and he's actually making Islamic versions of Christian carols,
Okay.
and that's what I want to see here. Even though my background isn't from like an indigenous English one, I wouldn't want to see Islam here be dominated by foreign cultures. It's got to be a kind of homemade English Islam, right? So with an English culture, but within the niqab, so I think you've got to be careful, my brother, sincerely, because then we're overstepping our mark, and you might be saying something which may be putting your deen in trouble.
Like what? Like what?
Like about the niqab and the loose clothing. This is part of our deen.
I'll show you what dir'a looks like.
What the Somali women wear.
Yeah.
It's modest, it covers it.
Yeah, it covers it. Yeah. It's
The
dir'a.
brother was saying about niqab as well,
Yeah.
and in the debates of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they're debating whether you can wear niqab or not. We can't say that as laymen that niqab is not part of our culture. It's not about culture, then, bro. You know, it's not something uniquely Arab either.
Do you know many Niqabi sisters?
Huh?
Have Do you know many Niqabi sisters? Have you spoken to them about why they wear it?
Look, they can have their choice, right? Like, I'm not the one to force people.
And I've known a few, and all their reasons are always to do with Islam and how they feel about Islam. I've never heard the argument that it's Arab.
Yeah, you're talking about Arab culture, but Islam was.
For example, here's a very simple.
Came to get rid of.
It's a very simple dira. That's just like, you get me. She's this is modest. She's covered, right? Let me see the shirt.
I look for you. McDonald's is closed.
I'm gonna show you some camera, man.
No, I went there.
That is like
It's a Brett instead.
It's called dira basically. Right? Yeah, that's dira basically, right? Right? Yeah, so it's very beautiful. There are more dir'as and parties with different colours. Also, we have.
What's the deal with the colours? Is there something? I'm sure I've read something about the colours.
For example, I'll show you one important colour. There's one important colour that Somali people will keep it as.
Does it indicate tribe or position?
No, it doesn't.
Hijab is to not
this
catch
one,
the
this
eye
one indicates
and the
specifically
colours.
Somali culture.
That's the opposite.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What I found,
So that's what you're talking about.
what I found, and I can see why you're resisting this kind of Arabization mentality, is that many Muslims in the West, particularly in the UK, they have this idea that there is no culture in Islam. And whatever, there's no culture in Islam, and yet they adopt their Arabic culture. But actually, in the Sharia, there's even space for urf, which is culture. As long as it's within the scope of the Sharia, nothing wrong with that.
I know different tribes described, aren't they? And,
Absolutely, you can't expect...
I'm right in saying, my understanding is there's only 20% of Muslims are actually Arab, aren't they?
Possibly, sounds about
80%
right.
of them are all
Yeah, sounds about right.
Well, the Prophet ﷺ actually came to get rid of certain traditions from people who were Arabs, his forefathers and stuff. So he didn't hold on to Arab traditions.
He got rid of many Arab
Yeah.
cultures because
So
they
it's
were wrong.
Yeah.
Like killing, having a daughter and then burying them alive. Barbaric, absolutely. But that was Arab culture.
Yeah. And even ones that aren't so extreme,
Trying to get, for example.
But you said before that if a Somali sister's wearing something that you consider an Arab dress code, you said that she shouldn't do that.
I'll tell you, yeah. For example, here's a
what
dress.
I didn't understand.
Here's a dress called hididakan, yeah.
So can she choose what she wants to wear?
Yeah. For example, here's another. This specifically a Somali traditional
this is
dress.
not Islamic, bro.
I know. But basically, you see, this is the hijab on the side, so she covers that with herself. Now, this is called hididakan, right? So this is the dress, and that is the garbisar. Garbisar is something that you cover with your head. So this is let me show you this on camera.
If she wants to not wear that,
Now, if she doesn't want to wear it, she doesn't want to wear it. But
is that okay?
this is like every Somali, when they're having important things happening, they wear the hididakan dress code. All right. Okay. I'll show you how girls and boys wear that. So,
While you're searching, I don't understand how niqab or abaya is Arab. I don't understand how you've linked that. This seems to be like, the secularists in Muslim countries, they'll always say this is Arab culture. They've done it in Turkey, they've done it in Tunisia, Kyrgyzstan, all these kind of countries. They'll say this is not, but to replace it, they have no problem taking Western culture.
Yeah, no problem.
But when it's something that's Islamic, they say, oh, this is Arab culture, this is foreign to us, we don't want this.
okay, let me tell you.
It's that kind of mentality.
I know what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But the Somali people, first of all, they don't like to be infiltrated. Right? They don't like to be changed. For example,
As did the Arabs. The Arabs also didn't like to be infiltrated.
Well, they did welcome the Western world to infiltrate them.
No, I mean in the
they
Prophet's
did.
time, they didn't welcome his infiltration, but he infiltrated.
Until today, even though things are changing a little bit, but starting from the 1990s, yeah, Somali people, even America tried it. Black Hawk Down happened. Before that, the Portuguese tried it. Before that, the Omanis tried it. Before that, the Romans and the Greek tried it. We've never accepted any people to infiltrate it whatsoever. We defeated them. The Romans are very powerful people too. You get me? We defeat all these people simply because, like superpowers, when any superpower comes to Somalia, they fall, right? So now what they have done is they've seen how powerful these people are. They have started doing divide and conquer thing. So they started to work out how the Somali system works through tribal. That's where they're getting to. So that's why you see, for example, he spoke about Somaliland earlier.
Yeah.
So this is, for example, when the British came and the British were being defeated by Sayyid Abdullah Hassan. He's a very, very important figure in Somalia. He defeated one of the most powerful colonel who actually done a lot of crazy jobs in Sudan, India, Pakistan. They couldn't handle this guy. Like, wherever he goes, he was massacring people. But when he came to Somalia, the Sayyid was the only man that said, you know what, the Dervish people were the one that stopped him, and he was killed within there. So when the British saw how these people, like, at the end of the day, at that time, there was Ifad, there was Adel, these are different sultanates. There was Westangeli and a lot of other different tribes of sultanates, yeah? And then, even though they were separate in kingdoms, what Somalia, the Sayyid was talking to different sultanates saying that I need men, come give me men. And you see from every corner of the Somali regions, people coming to support him. Somalis are united. So what the British and the Western people, they got used to, you know, people who are divided, and you can use, like, you can, you can put enmity between them. But then anyways, long story short, when the British left and they wanted Somaliland to be independent, Somaliland independent, what Somaliland done was that they designed the Somali flag that I have, Somaliland designed it. And they also wrote the song for the flag. And they came to their Somali brothers and they was like, you know what, let's be one. The
blue flag.
The colonizer left, so now it's time for us to be one. So when the British saw this, they were like, what's going on? Like, we were never expecting this, you know? But now what's happening at the moment is there is some tribal tension, right? There's some tribal tension between the two, and also what a previous guy, some president who was a bit corrupt.
No, is Somalia a Muslim country?
100%.
So the laws and everything.
Everything.
But if you were Somali, Islam doesn't affect the culture. You know, obviously me being British, converting to Islam, all of a sudden whilst I've kept my culture, there are some parts of my culture I have to give up. Because obviously Islam is first. You're Muslim before you're Somali, aren't you? This could be the. That is where I wanted to go.
But he's more patriot.
So you're more Somali than you are Muslim.
I'm not a nationalist. Look, I come here to strengthen my community. Right. Look,
the brother asked the question.
Let me.
I think I might have hit the nail on the head.
I'll get to your question. Just let me explain.
You explained this already. That was the intro.
One more time for the people out there always listening. Whoever thinks I'm a nationalist, yeah. So when I came to this park, yeah. So people talking about everything, yeah. So I've seen the park being as a voice for the voiceless, or voice for those who can't be heard. So I see a lot of things happening within the Somali community, and I started with, you know, teaching Somali history, even though I don't know a lot, but I just try to spread what I know. You get me? But anyways, long story short, am I a Muslim first or Somali first? That's a good question. But the thing is, would I have been a Muslim if I wasn't a Somali?
I think
the brother is not Somali.
Yeah.
No. I know, but you were invited to Islam, but me. But I'm a Muslim because I was Somali first.
No, but presumably, because I think reverts revert, but a born Muslim has to one day ask themselves the question: why am I Muslim? You can't. I mean, if you just say because you're born Muslim, that's not really good enough, is it? So presumably, you believe in Islam, you believe in it all. So.
No, you asked me. You're talking about identity.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, Islam is.
You're always saying you're Muslim just because you're Somalian, but that's separate.
No, that's not what I said. Okay, let me rephrase it.
Not?
Let me rephrase it. Yeah. Somali people are 100% Muslim. My mom is Muslim. My dad is Muslim. So just because I was born into a Somali community, like, it's a gift basically. Yeah. I'm thankful that Allah did that. But the fact that I was born into a Somali community or Somali parents is why I'm a Muslim. If I was born, if
that's the main reason.
So even if
that can't be your reason. That can't be your reason.
What if your parents held the same belief?
Can I finish?
I get what he's saying though.
Can I finish?
I do understand what you're saying, but
Can I finish?
Phrase it.
The meaning
Right
of why he became a Muslim.
now, I'm a Muslim because I understand Muslim.
Yes.
Right? Or I understand Islam.
Yeah.
Right? But the
it.
identity, just because my mom and dad were Somali, because we know Somalis are 100% Muslims. If Somalis were Christians and my mom and dad were Christian, I would have been born a Christian.
Yeah.
You get me? So because Somali people are Muslims, I am born a Muslim.
I agree with
You
that.
would
You
be
get me?
born into a Christian family, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
get
if you were to be born. I don't. Agree
Now,
if you
if,
be born Muslim.
if they were Christian,
So
I'd be
you're,
born a
you're blessed enough to have that
family,
head start into Islam.
Somali.
I
Yeah, so
agree with that. I
I'm
agree
blessed
with
that I'm Somali. You get me? That's number one. Alhamdulillah. The second part, identity comes. Identity is description, identification. You cannot identify or describe faith. Can we describe faith? We can give faith definition, but we cannot describe faith. So when we're talking about
Is that not a description?
what? Definition is not description.
How would you differentiate the two then?
Okay, description is like when you describe something in details. Like
Are
for
you saying
example,
in terms that it's not tangible?
oh, for example, let's define what is the etymology. For example, etymology of words, root words, where it comes from, where it is in essence. That's definition. Whereby descriptions like just simple stuff like, for example, sorry, what's your name, brother?
Jordan.
For example, I was like, I saw Jordan, then you ask me, who's Jordan? I'm going to be like, he's a tall guy, he's a bit muscular, Yeah, that's description. Whereby definition is giving etymology, root word, where it comes from, what it means in essence. That's the two different things. So now, religion or faith is definition. You can only define religion or faith, but you can't give a description of it. Like, for example, we believe in Allah, right? Can we describe Allah? We cannot describe Allah,
Yes,
right?
we can explain him up to a limit
But
as to
come on,
what Allah has shared with us.
yeah, but can we describe
regarding
Allah
his-
like as an entity? Can we describe Allah?
As I said, we can explain up to the point of what Allah has taught us.
Yeah, but still, for example, Allah
Right.
taught us about a lot of things. That's true. But can we define Allah Himself? Like, can we give Allah a definition like this? Okay, this is the definition of Allah, or this is the description of Allah.
I wouldn't be able to go into
We can talk about his qualities.
exact
Yeah,
details.
because
I get what you're
once we talk about, is Islam your identity. Then we're gonna have to get into Allah and the creation and everything.
Islam
But anyways,
is-
long story short, Islam is faith. So my faith is just like it's something that I follow. It's a path to follow. It's a doing thing. It's not an identity or it's not a description that I carry.
No, but Islam
example,
is what
right
is
now-
your guide. Islam is what you have to live by. Now.
Yeah.
value.
For
Regardless of what
example,
country you're from.
some people will think I have to wear khamis, imamat, more like Arabized clothing to look like a Muslim, whereby I can just wear casual and be a Muslim.
But that's
You
another
get me?
issue.
Look,
So,
Part
so,
of the
so,
identity-
so, so once we start to give Islam a description, then we try to look like a different people who are not you, or you just trying to give yourself a definition. Remember, Islam is a private thing. You're not supposed to show off. So just by being casual and being just like simple person by yourself, then that's okay. You don't have to look like
let me just.
You get me?
Identity has many different levels.
Okay.
So, you're a man, you're a son. These are different parts of your identity, right? You can't say that I'm a man, but I'm not Somalian,
But that's the description, though.
right? No, but it's part of our identity.
Yeah, but yeah.
So I'm British,
Yeah.
but I'm also Turkish. I'm a father. I'm a son, right? And I'm a Muslim, right? These are all different parts of my identity, but they had come in different categories, right? So one is my religion, one is my ethnicity, right? But what the brother was trying to say to you, we accept that you're Somalian, and we accept that you're Muslim as well. We're not doubting that, but is Islam more important? Or being Somalian, is that something that you feel is at a higher level?
See, that's better. That's
Did
better.
I-
Or you could even make it more simple, saying, "Do you love Allah more, or you love Somalia more?" I love Allah more.
Okay, so then
That's something much simpler. Do you love Allah more? First of all, I love Allah. Then I love my mom and my parents. Then I love my country.
So when
But when
binds
it
us all
comes,
together-
but when it comes to identity, because we're talking about there's two different things.
You're
We're
talking
talking
about ethnicity.
We're talking about description. Right now, identity is a description.
Identity is an umbrella term for many
we're talking
different
about
types of.
Arabization
But you can say that. You can say that.
Categories.
But religion does not fall under identity.
Of course it does.
It doesn't.
So a Muslim is part of your identity, but it's not exclusively your identity. You're not just Muslim, but you don't have a ethnicity. The brother become Muslim, but he's
You
still
need to
English.
define
How?
what identity
All right. He's a Muslim, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How do I identify him if he's a Muslim?
How do you identify him?
Yeah. Is there any?
I can identify him under a number of different.
No. But
categories.
he didn't. If he didn't tell you he wasn't a Muslim, would you have identified him?
No.
He looks like a casual person, but that's what I'm saying. Islam.
But
is
how
not-
would I know that
unless-
you're Muslim?
Ah,
I'm
well,
Muslim.
no. Unless you give yourself a description of something called Islam, then you would have an identity of Islam. But Islam is more like a personal faith thing.
When you say identity, do you mean how to ID someone?
No,
How
no.
to identify
How
someone?
to-
'Cause the way I interpret identity
For example, when I
is
say
my,
I'm
my
a-
set of values.
For example,
That makes
Somali is an identity. right? It's a country, it's a place. It gives everything that falls under a description.
That's one of them.
Yeah, but anything that falls under a description, any description, as long as it falls under a description, is an identity.
Okay.
You get me? But if it does not fall under a description, then you can only give it a definition.
So that's how you define identity, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Okay, I
Islam,
understand what you're
when
saying.
we're talking about the heart, for example, in Islam we have aql and qalb, right? The aql is where we, define things around the world, and the qalb is all special things, right? So my mind is Somali, my heart is Islam. How about that?
I think what I was asking before was because obviously as an English revert, there are certain things I have to give up because the society I live in isn't Islamic. Is everything in Somalian culture Islamic?
Okay, that's a good question.
Are there certain things that you have to give up?
No, there are no
Nothing,
any things.
nothing. So
There are things that we gave up.
yes.
No, you.
No. Right now, there's nothing to give up, but there are things that we
So
gave
in
up.
Somalia, no one drinks,
Akhi,
no one
that's-
smokes.
whoa.
I'm not saying it's part of the culture, but I'm just trying to get a...
If you ask me about the culture, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about something as general, we're all humans, man. People do all sorts of things. There's no way I'm going to tell you Somalis don't drink. That's
agree.
ignorant
But
thing
would
to say.
you agree?
No,
And I'm only
I
asking,
know a lot
would
of
you-
Somalis.
About your
Are you,
culture.
are
Would
you
you agree that part of English culture is pub culture?
3 months ago, I used to
there's
smoke.
things like that. So that's why it's.
What?
Would you agree that English culture, part of it is pub culture? There's a pub culture in England. That's why I'm asking. I haven't never been to Somalia. So,
What do you mean? I don't still don't get that.
so most English blokes my age, there's a pub culture. So alcohol
Pub
is,
culture.
I'm
Popular
not drinking
culture.
alcohol, but there's
Pub,
a pub
pub,
culture.
Pub
culture
oh.
that I now have to give up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that English culture is a part of British
much more
values.
to it.
There's much more to it. But I'm just giving that an example
Yeah.
of something that I have to give up, even if all my friends are going there, even if it's a popular thing amongst my people.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that in your in
Well, like
Somalia?
cut or something like this.
Oh yeah, there is khat, there is a lot of things going on there. Cigar, smoking and all that.
And are you happy to give up these things to
But
adopt an Islamic?
first of all, a lot
Or
of
are you
Somalis,
stuck on it because it's Somali culture?
a lot of people,
Yeah, I think that's
a lot
worded
of
it
people.
better.
First of all, khat is not a Somali thing.
What is cut?
It doesn't even grow. It's
like a drug.
it's more like a drug. It's not specifically a drug, but it's more like a drug, but still. Yeah, it's a plant. Yeah, it's a plant. What it does is like it kind of alters the mind or something.
But it's part of Somali culture, isn't it?
It's not Somali
I'm not saying
culture.
it's originated from
No,
Somalia.
it's
I don't
not.
know.
Yeah.
But many Somalians,
Well,
particularly the elders,
if something
will
is
get
if
involved
something
with that,
if something did not originate from you, it's not your culture.
right? No, that's wrong.
How can you?
If it's become, so you're saying that it has to originate from your people
For
to be your
example,
culture,
as Somali, right?
right?
Qad is something that's practiced by some people, not all of us, a very minor of us, right? And most of it comes from Ethiopia and Yemen. So I'd rather give it to Yemen and
Regardless,
Ethiopia.
I'm not saying where it originated. I'm not saying who has the patent to it, but if it's common among your people, like it's saying, like the brother mentioned about pub culture, right? So did English people invent beer? No. That's like saying that, then, isn't it? So because English people didn't invent beer, therefore pub culture is not English.
Oh yeah, beer is khamr, right?
Can we go back to the?
bro.
Are you really? Are there things in the Somali culture
It seems like you're
aren't in
diverted from
line,
that.
that aren't in line in the Islamic belief and the culture, I guess?
Within
that
Somali-
you're not happy to give up.
Things that I'm not happy to
Yeah,
give
the
up. That's
things
not.
that you are.
That you will give up
but-
because of Allah.
But is it seen as
It's
haram?
part of your.
Yes, things that are haram. Yes.
But is in Somali culture? That I'm not willing to give up.
Yeah.
There isn't.
I think
Like there's,
everyone agrees.
'cause-
I think
yeah,
everyone agrees.
I'll give you an example from my culture then. We like to drink coffee, Turkish coffee.
Yeah.
Now, part of our culture is once it's done, you'll have a little bit left in the bottom, and they'll try and do like fortune telling based on this.
Okay.
Drinking coffee isn't haram. It's part of our culture which can be acceptable. But the fortune telling, that's haram. So I have to give that up.
That's a good example.
Regardless, I'm Turkish, whatever, I'm proud to be from that, whatever it is, but in the day, if Allah says not allowed, then that part of my earth, that culture, bye-bye. Right? Doesn't make me any less of who I am. So I'm sure, Somalians are human, English, everyone is human, they're bound to make some mistakes. Right? You might see something, especially now you're living in England, where you, from an outsider's perspective, you might say, you know what, this is part of my culture, but actually, I'm going to have to give that up.
What's the name? Sorry.
Everlast.
Everlast.
Yeah, on camera, Everlast. After
Everlast,
camera, I'll tell
like
you.
the brand Everlast. So I think brother Everlast.
There's a lot of that going on nowadays in this corner.
I think what you're saying is the stuff that is that people, I guess, in Somalia are adopting that isn't actually haram. What is it? No,
But if we're talking about general thing like music, there is music in Somalia. If we're talking about drugs like khat, there is drugs in Somalia.
And I was asking because it's good you're a proud Somalian.
Yeah, but the thing is, let me just finish this. Yeah, there are things that we gave up because of Islam.
Yes.
Right, like worshipping the sun god, like the Egyptian people, like worshipping the god of water, or we had a whole paganistic kind of religion, and a lot of paganistic culture that we gave up, right? So there is not, for example, there are words like, for example, nether. Nether means divine, but this nether word was used for divine things in the ancient gods. But now we use nether for divine things that come from Allah. So there are things that we changed to fit the religion, and there are things that we totally threw away because it does not fit in the religion. You get me? So apart from khad, these are, for example, khamr or alcohol is haram. It's clearly on the Quran. But when it comes to khad or things like this, even though a lot of people like qad because some of them work night shifts or they're drivers. For example, they drive from one end to another, and qad helps them to stay awake. You get me? For a long time of distance, so they don't get into accidents or they don't fall or something happens to them. So in some sense, it's useful, and in some sense, some people abuse it. Right? Everything. If you abuse water, it's bad for you. Even though water is good for you, but if you abuse it, it can kill you. So the same thing goes with anything, drugs, even the khat itself. Some people use it for the purpose of staying awake to fulfill their business and to feed their family, and some of them just abuse it. So those who abuse it, I think it's haram for them. And those who just do it for the business, I'm not the one to put a law on it. If Allah made it haram, Allah made it haram. You get me? That's the way it is, man.
When you were talking about the Arabization, you're talking about the stuff that so you don't want to get rid of the stuff that isn't haram. Like, why get rid of the stuff that's part of your culture that isn't haram?
What do you mean?
So the stuff that's in Somali culture, like the dress that you showed, for
That's
example.
not haram, though.
Yeah. So if it's not haram, why get rid of it? Is what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want that Arabization or whatever.
Look, when people come to your land, when people come to you, right, and they are not only, for example, what the Sahaba did was they came to us, they said, hello guys, there's only one Allah, boom, they built a mosque, right, with our help, obviously. I know he's going to say they built it, but I'm going to have to stand against that. But anyways, they built a mosque and then they left. Nothing else. They left us. And then these Somalis, like for example the Grand Dynasty, they migrated from all the way down and they started, teaching about Islam to their other Somali brethren. And then when these people became powerful, they went out of their hand and they went to Maldives and parts of Asia to spread Islam. Even all of East Africa was because of us that they are Muslims. East Africa was spread Islam because of us. So there's a lot of things that we've done. So when it comes to giving up a lot of things, we destroyed a lot of historical things. Right now, people also the colonists, they stole a lot of our history as well. They destroyed so much stuff that was ours. So there's a lot of things that happened to Somalia. Like Ethiopia, they were really good at,
How did Islam reach Somalia then? I don't know
the first migration.
Okay.
The first hijrah, they passed by a port, a Somali port in Zayla, and boom, that's that. And then after that, I think they settled there for a bit, and then they taught them about Islam, then they moved on to
7th century.
Yeah?
It was the 7th century.
Yeah.
They were fleeing the persecution in Mecca, and they were going to Habasha because King Negus invited them. And on their way, they went past the Zayla, and they settled there for a few days, and they built the locals there, and they built a mosque.
And they were able to convert the locals, were they?
Yeah, the locals there, they were nomads there, and they built a mosque there.
So then, in order for that to spread, the locals must have gained a certain level of knowledge, and then went out on missions to spread Islam.
So the crux of it is we're all in agreement, aren't we? We're all different from different cultures. Islam is first, Allah is first, but we want to keep our culture that isn't haram, and that's encouraged. We're all actually in agreement, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think we agree.
When I spoke to the brother in the beginning, just for the clarification for those who weren't here, there was a brother who was talking about how he was kind of pro-Arabization.
Oh, okay.
And I actually said to the brother that I really like what he does. I watched the videos where he's discussing about Somali history, and it's good that he lets his people know to have that sense of pride within the limits and boundaries within Islam. Because
Is it fair to say, I've been thinking about it a lot, is it fair to say that you can't deny that some Arabization happens? For instance, we pray in Arabic, we greet each other in Arabic, so there is Arabization to some extent.
Yes.
But you can still keep your cultures with that.
Yeah, so what I think the level of Arabization that we're discussing here is where whole communities define themselves as Arab.
But for example, Somali people, we love Islam. We love the Prophet so much to the extent that there was a time in Somalia of the Sufi movement. And these people spoke in poets and metaphors or whatever, and somehow people misunderstood their mission because they were telling people that we come from the Prophet's family just because they love the Prophet. So you have a lot of Asharaf and a lot of this, a lot of that, who say that we come from Bani Hashim, we come from Umar, we come from this, we come from that, even though in essence they were not from there. But
so they were saying like a spiritual lineage.
A spiritual lineage,
right.
You get me? So when a Somali says back in the days, I'm from Bani Hashim or from the family's Prophet, they'll be like, I represent the Prophet.
Yeah.
You get me? I come from the Prophet. So as time passed, people misunderstood. So anyways, long story short, what some other people have done is that they have taken the deen and they have interpreted in their own language. And so that's because you can only teach other people through your language. Like if they spoke Arabic, who would listen? Nobody, you know? So there's a lot of things that we gave up for Somalia, for Islam. Like for example, Salam Alaikum. We say Salam Alaikum, but it's not because it's Arabic, it's because the Prophet ﷺ says Salam Alaikum to your brothers. Right? So we adhere to what the Prophet said. The Prophet said cover yourself, so we cover ourselves with our natural, traditional clothing.
But there is an importance to the Arabic language religiously because there is a certain level of unity. The Adhan is in Arabic. Wherever you go in the world, you'll know, right, it's prayer time. I'm going to that. When we pray, we all pray in the same way. We say the same prayers are used. You know, that's in essence, it's protected our religion as well. Because we're using the same words exactly.
It's made it universal.
It's made it universal.
Yeah.
But 1400 years, the same message is continuing. Unlike with other religions, where where often it's a dead language, where that message will spread.
Actually, look, there are a lot of Arabs that, if you go to Arabian world right now, they won't even understand the Quran. Because the Arabic they speak is not, but exactly.
But the Fusha is
but they don't
continuing.
But they don't understand it though. The majority of them don't understand the Fusha. So how can we say Arab? Because when people say Arabic, they mistake Arabic with the modern day Arabic.
No, we're talking about the Fusha. We're talking about the Arabic language.
Yeah.
And how special it is for us. The Quran is in Arabic as well.
Yeah.
So it has a special place in our heart. But we're not saying that Arabs are superior to us. And I think the issue that happened before, I don't think you meant that Somalis are superior to Arabs, or
no,
in what you said either.
Is that what you took from it?
No, there was another thing that happened before, but I think you just need to be careful with how you're coming across, because if you're saying you want to promote Somalian culture and history, I'm very much interested about that as well. And that's an area where I don't have much knowledge about, and actually I think that the Somalian community needs to take responsibility of that, because they've just left their kind of history.
Yeah.
No one's documenting it.
No.
Right? Where's the history about Somalians, the great poets, the leaders, the heroes?
So we have, for example, we have super major poets, man.
Yeah.
In modern day and in the ancient times as well.
But why is it non-Somalians aren't learning about this? So people like you, maybe you need to come up with a team, or maybe just
I've
yourself.
got my team. One of them's right here, man.
Salam.
Man like Ram.
Okay, but then maybe like translate some of these into English, right?
Yeah.
Maybe get some
Do you
diwan
not find
poetry.
do you not find this a pushback when you try to push this information?
No, the thing is this, yeah. First of all, I'm not very knowledgeable. Like, I know bits and parts.
I've learned a lot from you about Somalian history.
Thank you still. Yeah, I know bits and parts, yeah. Most of the time, maybe sometimes I could be wrong and I like to be corrected. But the reason why I come here is because I've seen people, like, I looked around, like, this is a place that where you can have a voice, where you can be heard, right? So I just feel like, you know what, because I know I've met a lot of Somali people. Some of them don't even know their history. Some of them are not even proud because they feel like we are a nobody, right? Because they don't know, because like you said, where's your history? How come nobody's written this? Like, but when I speak about it, they'll be like, wow, I didn't know that. Like, you get me?
Yeah.
So,
Let me jump. So one of the things I'm saying when we speak about our own kind of cultural groups and stuff is we have to be very careful with language, because there's a sensibility in the part where people just quickly erupt, right? So what I would say is we want to try to make sure we build up our cultures, but we don't undermine others.
No,
now I don't think you've ever done that.
Do that, no.
But that's why it's very important that when we talk about the good things we do, we leave it in the context of that, and we don't necessarily have to undermine something that someone else hasn't done. Does that make sense, right? So I think that's where sometimes, I think that's the root of this conversation. Someone felt that someone was being undermined, right? Yeah. But saying that though, there are some people who are already on edge, and they'll just jump in. And I think the young gentleman there, he might be that in some areas, right? He was waiting for something. Yeah. And there was a guy I was speaking to before, and Ahmed, I believe his name was. He has that as well, I believe, right? Where if someone has pride in their culture, trying to fix something in their culture, they automatically think that you're trying to take away from someone else's culture. That's a good conversation to have, and it's sad that no one here seems to be practicing that, because I wouldn't know the root of that. Yeah, because that seems to then escalate online, and people come down and they start making up stories in their head. Right? Anything you want to jump in on that?
No, I agree.
I think the other thing that the brother done here, because you're saying the Somalis have a lot to represent, and I believe that, right? But I think when you say that, oh, the Arabs haven't done this, Arabs haven't done that, in a sense, you're trying to take it away from them as well. So you're going to say, all right, you know what, the Arabs have done a great, it's historically documented. They've got great scientists, they've contributed a lot to human civilization. Sure. Right? Great. But let's focus on Somalia now, rather than trying to take away from other communities.
I think it's the way you present information, because when you say Arabs, you're talking about a massive cultural group, right? So it's just like when we heard the word white, right? Massive cultural group. Sometimes we don't want to draw everyone in. But if we talk about systems, that's different. Like systems that were done to uphold certain kind of people. But generally, I would say that certain things, like some Arabs, a particular group of people, are an elite amongst like a collective. That way, the Arab community won't feel like they need to jump in and defend themselves and so forth. Right? That's what I would say.
Would you mean by systems?
Yes.
Well, systems is different. So, for example, we could talk about a system what we understand as white supremacy, right? Right. So, with white supremacy, that's a system that was set up back in the olden days to make sure that the closer you are to Europeanness, the more benefits you get in life. Now that is an actual system that was constructed, right? And the legacy of it might be still around, or is still around today.
Yeah, like so a neo-colonialist mindset.
Yeah. So there's a difference between the white supremacist system and white people, right? But what we don't want to equate is saying that if you're white supremacist. Yeah. Right. And that's like if you're Arab supremacist, right? So it's this kind of thing. So this is where the tricky language comes in. So we have to be very careful. And what I always tell people is talk about your own culture and ignore everyone else's. Yeah? That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, like, I've seen like man like Suleiman, and many people came to me every time I try to speak about Somali stuff.
Yeah, but they're different though.
Yeah.
But you have to recognise the difference between them and because with them,
they're not mainstream.
Yeah, they are very particular in their understanding of Islam. And
yeah, but it's wrong to have that kind of an understanding of Islam. At the end of the day, look, this is what I think. Yeah,
I'll definitely invite them to come and speak, because if they're always welcome them in.
I think you need to be extra careful then with your language, because you can say it in this way, right? I'm interested in Somalians, they're my brothers. So in essence, I'm not trying to take the culture away from you, but I feel a part of it is, that's a bit of me as well in terms of as a Muslim. Obviously I'm not Somalian, and I'm not trying to take that to say that's mine, right? But if you come across to people like whoever, or it's particularly people from this country who become new to Islam, you're quite lucky in a sense, you've got a good crowd around you, and you're quite balanced anyway as a person. But some people who maybe have a troubled background and come in, they're just like, remember we were talking about the people who say culture is against Islam? Yeah. They got that mindset. Yeah. Right? So we might maybe just be a bit soft on those brothers.
Inshallah.
They're our brothers.
But Akhi, there's one problem with these people, that they come to you and they say Asabiyya. Yeah. When in particularly Asabiyya, it does not mean nationalism. By the way, like, just let me put extra details on it. Yeah. I'm not a nationalist. But for example, the Quran uses words like nations, right? Nations of people. Like, for example, Qawmu Salih, the people of Salih, they were a nation, right? Even though they were a tribe, they were a nation, a group of people.
Like, Allah says in the Quran, I created you into nations so that you can get to know each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the word is Qawm. Qawm is a nation, you get me? So nation does not mean waving a flag or whatever. Nation means a people, a group of people, a part of a certain people. So now, when I support my people, people say that you're nationalistic. If I was nationalistic, I would be like, wallahi, I would have a whole different approach. Like, I won't be this calm. I won't be speaking about Islam or all this stuff. Like, you get me? So, I support my community. Like, I'm from, like, people are telling me to go back to Somalia. But the thing is, there are Somali people that live here. And there are Somali communities that live in London or in the UK. And so
you want to help them integrate?
I want them to understand who they are. Right. For example, if you make your community better and healthy, you become healthy, you become happy. Because I know, look, do you know how many times I was walking by the streets, Somali people helped me? Like, I remember one time I was lost in central London. I lost my bank card, everything. I couldn't go home, and to walk home is going to take me 4 hours to walk home. I saw a Somali woman, she gave me £10.
The truth,
you get me? It's like that.
But the truth is, brother, I think what it is you're recognizing that you're trying to fix something, right? And no one should ever try to make you ashamed of trying to fix something. There's certain communities that they don't need to practice these kind of things because they're already fixed. They've already got certain things in place. They're trying to get things in place. So shame on people who try to undermine you in your progress, right? So, but once again, that's another conversation we can have, is why someone feels it's necessary to see someone trying to fix a situation and overly critique it. You know what I mean? And that's, see, these are the conversations I like to have, but I think they get carried away. And there's
What the brother's doing is something positive.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and one thing I would like to talk about as well is a game with Ahmed. Is it Ahmed? I can't remember. The brother who said the first guy to start this conversation was Ahmed. Is Ahmed the guy, the Egyptian guy? Yeah, because before you came. What I'm saying is this misunderstanding is why there's so much confusion. Yeah, and also to label people. So to look at you and call you a nationalist, to call someone a black supremacist, whatever it is, this is a disclaimer to it. Right? It's not actually open in dialogue. And I think the brother might be a speaking issue or just some kind of understanding, because every time we speak, he seems to go somewhere else, right? But I don't think you're the only one, Riza. Yeah, it's challenging. It's quite challenging, right?
Do you feel that his issue is he feels that you have a certain opinion because of association?
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like, shame on me if I walk to like the Muslim community and see one person is extremist and go, well, this is the Muslim community, right? If he's had a bad experience with some people who do community work, I'm more than happy to try to fix that. But generally, I'm not too sure why he want to paint everyone this kind of brush. It's very challenging. But then once again, Speaker's Corner, you don't necessarily need to have a qualification to come there. You can walk off the street. So I don't know what the gentleman's gone through in his past life. I don't know what his understanding is. But so I don't know, no matter how much we talk, it might never get through. As I said, I don't know. But he's always welcome to come and present his argument. But once again, if you're from a community, if you identify as Somali community, Asian community, whatever it is, if you're trying to do betterment work, it doesn't matter what other people think. If you recognise in your community there's something that needs fixing, you don't need to get permission from someone else. You never need to get permission.
Your money, in your pocket.
Yeah. So what I'm saying for you, the only advice I give you is never get angry when someone comes to you. Never get angry, right? Yeah, because they're outside of it. And the thing is, their mind can't process the information how yours is. Like, you understand a direct need to do something because you're part of it. It's most unpleasing when you are, say, Somali, and you have non-Somali people telling you how you should be a Somali. They tell you how you should dedicate your time.
Also, look, Somalia is not. By the way, look, I'm going to add something to this before we leave, innit? Somalia is not only a country, right? The name Somali is actually a name of an ancestor, which is the Somali ancestors. His name is Somali. That's where Somali comes from. It's not only a country. For example, Israel, right, is at the same time a country, also a tribe, and the name of a man. Yaqub was known as Israel, alayhi salam, right? So same thing goes to the Somali people. So now, when I say Somali, I'm talking about a people, a nation of people who come from, a big family, not just, a nation or a country. Within a nation, for example, if you go to Ethiopia, Kenya, many other African countries, you have many tribes who don't even have any connections, right? Or like linguistically, culturally, lineage, whatever, they don't connect, but yet they come under one country, under one flag. But Somali people are different from that. Some people, homogeneous?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, homogeneous. They're one homogeneous people. So that's the thing. So when I come here, I'm not trying to wave a flag or the
flag. But you can wave a flag though. Is that you can actually wave a flag?
No. The reason why I wave the flag, even though some people say it's nationalistic, the flag shows there's a star in the middle, and that star shows 5 angles, which is the 5 Somali regions. So that flag actually is a form of unity to unite the 5 Somali regions, which were divided by the colonialists. You get me? So me wearing that flag, I'm not wearing it to say, okay, you Muslims, you Arabs, you Nigerians, even though you're Muslim, I don't care about you, I care about mine, or I'm better than you. That's not what I do.
That's why language is important, because as soon as you start doing that, people, and that's very important. And I tell this to
that's not what I do. That's not what I do.
No, I would never say you do that, but I think people go latch to the words you say.
Someone that doesn't know you and just hears a snippet of what you have to say, because the thing is with patriotism, is it's on the borderline, isn't it? There's one side which can be allowed, and there's other way you can go over and become racist.
I think one thing I have to establish when we try to do better work is, at no point should we be trying to mistreat other people.
No.
Yeah?
It's hard to do in Islam.
And I think that's where people get confused. They equate you being dedicated on a particular subject to mistreating other people.
Yeah, but why is that the perception, really?
Well, it depends the people group, right? From what I've seen for the black people group, right, a lot of people who have been aware of the mistreatment of black people have been directly a part of it, right? What happens is they feel that if black people were to ever get in some kind of power, they might do to those that has been done to them, right? And because of that, there's a fear.
So you think it's a bit of a guilty conscience then?
Without question. I mean, this is something you guys can jump in. Like, here's what it is. You guys are here, right? European individual, Asian individual, right? I don't know your background, right? And I'm going to say you guys are nice people. But when you go to your community groups, you're aware of what might be said, right? And it isn't in your best interest to come forth and tell black people, like, here's what I'm hearing, like, my uncle said this, or my cousin said that. You probably might keep that in-house. But the thing is, those emotions come from somewhere, right? And if people process information that way, that means when they interact with black people, they're going to do certain things or not do certain things that's going to end up in a negative situation, right?
Generalising against the community.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So, but the thing is, most black people don't actually understand it. They don't necessarily, because generally, I mean, it's no joke, amongst black collectives, from what I've seen, we generally do not speak disfavourably about other groups.
I think I remember asking you that last time.
We
And
generally don't.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah,
Which is a good thing. But
and here's what it is. Many non-black people are surprised because, like I said, when we're around, we have the odd joke here and there. We make the thing. But you tell me, when you guys get together, you don't spend your time mistreating non-black people. No. So that's why you're seeing that if you as an Asian were to say, you know what, I want to work in the Asian community, at no point that you're going to have a black person popping the head around going, don't do that. Because at no point are we thinking that anything negative is going on. But I do get the sense that a lot of non-black people think that when black people come together in secret, there's some kind of plot to mistreat non-black people. And that's why the brother Ahmed earlier, if you were here, that's why he seems so enthralled with the rage. Because, like, you know, he's just black supremacy, and you know, I have black friends and this kind of stuff. It's like, it's crazy. So what I'm saying is, this is the challenge that we face day to day. Right, and this is what people don't understand. So that's your question.
Content over everything from your Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Support one community, you have to be part of that. That's like a bit like Malcolm X's idea, where before, when it was still in Nation of Islam, where, you know, whites can help us, but they can't be part of our movement, as it were.
Where did you say so?
I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines when he was part of Nation of Islam, where, you know, whites can help us, but they can't be part of the movement.
Right. I don't think they can even help us.